friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Alyssa. Today I've got a really awesome recipe video for you. We are making breakfast, and these are going to be like healthy, dessert inspired / kind of decadent breakfasts. They have really great flavor combinations. I wasn't quite sure what to title this video, but I decided to just call it Decadent and Healthy Breakfast Recipes because they aren't necessarily all dessert inspired, but they are kind of decadent. You'll get the gist when we dive in. But as always, all of the recipes are already up on the blog, so you can find them in the description box below. I've given you individual links. And if you have any questions as we go, of course, you can always drop them down in the comments. Before you leave, I would love for you to subscribe if you are not already part of our community. There's a red button right below this video that says subscribe. And I think without further ado, let's just go ahead and dive in. I don't need to do a big long intro today because these recipes speak for themselves. The thumbnail speaks for itself. They are delicious, they are decadent, and they are healthy. So let's go ahead and dive in. So we are going to start by making our muffins. We're going to use a flax egg as the base. Then we're adding in some unsweetened applesauce, as well as some maple syrup, a little apple cider vinegar, and some plant-based milk. And you can use any plant-based milk that you want. And then just whisk this all together until it is smooth and creamy. From there, we'll start adding in our dry ingredients. We're going to be using oat flour, almond flour, quinoa flour, and our spices. So this is chai inspired, and the spices we're using are ginger, cinnamon, nutmeg, cardamom, allspice, and then of course we're going to add in some baking powder, a little bit of baking soda, and we're also adding in coconut sugar for added sweetness. And then you can just stir this all together until you have a nice muffin batter formed. And from there we will transfer it into our muffin tins. So just fill your muffin tins about, I fill them up a little bit more than 3/4 of the way. Just basically use up all of the batter between your muffins and try to be a little bit cleaner than I was. And then you can bake these at 350 degrees for about 22 to 24 minutes until they are golden brown. I let them cool in the pan for about 5 minutes, and then I transfer them to a wire rack and let them cool completely. And here is what they look like. They are gorgeous and so delicious. So while they're cooling, let's make our icing or our glaze. It is just going to be a mixture of melted coconut butter, which you can see here in this bowl, as well as some vanilla powder. I just use pure vanilla bean powder that I get on Amazon, which I will link below for you. And you can melt your coconut butter in the microwave or on the stove in a double boiler. If it doesn't melt all the way or it doesn't get creamy like this, I would add a little bit of coconut oil or MCT oil to it, and it should thin out pretty well. Once it's nice and smooth, it'll look kind of like this. You can just drizzle that all over the top of your muffins. And of course, this is totally optional. You definitely don't have to do this. It just adds like a really nice touch to them. It gives them a little bit of extra pizzazz. And then I like to finish them off with a little bit of something crunchy. So we're just adding some toasted coconut chips on top to finish them off. And that is all you have to do for these gorgeous little muffins. These are definitely one of my favorites. I tried to use a different flour combination for those of you who can't find quinoa flakes, so hopefully this is something that works well for a lot of you, and it's also banana free, which I know a lot of you like, and also oil free. So I hope you guys try them. They are absolutely delicious, and they just have the best texture, and they are perfectly sweet in my opinion. The next recipe we're going to make are our chocolate peanut butter chia pudding parfaits. We're going to start with the chia pudding. So it's chia seeds in a bowl along with some raw cacao powder. I like to do a scoop of protein powder here. That's optional. It just obviously adds a little bit more protein, which I like. And then on top of that, you will add in some almond milk. Stir that all together until it is combined, and just like any other chia pudding recipe, you are just going to set this aside and let it gel until it's thick. It should take about 10, maybe 15 minutes or so. Once that is thick, you can just give it a quick stir, and if it thickened up too much, just add a splash or two of plant milk and just stir it all together until you get the consistency that you want. And then it's time to make our peanut sauce. So our peanut layer is going to just be a combination of creamy peanut butter as well as maple syrup and some water to thin it out. And you're just going to stir this together until you get a sweet and delicious and silky smooth and fluffy peanut butter sauce. This is absolutely delicious. I literally could eat this on everything. Once it's nice and smooth, we are going to assemble our parfaits. So we start with a generous layer of the chia pudding, then do about half of that peanut butter sauce, and then layer on some cooked quinoa. And I like to finish it off with some garnishes. I do some chopped up peanuts, some chocolate chips, as well as some flaked coconut. And that is pretty much it for these parfaits. They are definitely meal prep friendly because they're in those 3 different layers. Nothing will get soggy. You could definitely keep them in the fridge for at least 4 to 5 days. They taste like a peanut butter cup. They are perfectly sweet. I love the combination of all of these ingredients together. And of course, we're using a ton of different ingredients that are really high in protein. So we're getting protein, we're getting healthy fats, and they're gonna be really nice and filling. So it's a really hearty and delicious breakfast that also tastes like dessert, which in my opinion is always a win. And then our final recipe is going to be a cinnamon swirl coffee cake. And we're gonna be doing this in stages. So the first stage is the wet ingredients. We're gonna just beat together 2 eggs along with some almond milk. I think you could also probably do this recipe with flax eggs. I just personally haven't tried it yet. And then we're gonna add in some mashed banana or applesauce, depending on your preference, as well as some light flavored oil. I like coconut oil here. Stir that together until it's smooth and creamy, and we are going to set that aside. Next up, we are making our crumble topping. So we're gonna add in some coconut sugar, some quinoa flour, some almond flour, oats, cinnamon, and then just stir that all together. And then you'll also add in, again, some melted oil, and you're gonna stir that together until you get this kind of nice crumbly texture. And this is what we're gonna crumble on top of our coffee cake before it bakes. The next layer is our cinnamon and sugar mixture. So it's honestly just coconut sugar and cinnamon just stirred together, and you'll set that aside, and that's what we're gonna use to make our cinnamon swirl. All right, so now we are ready to make our coffee cake. We're gonna add in some quinoa flour, as well as some almond flour, chickpea flour or another grain-based flour, tapioca starch, coconut sugar, baking soda, cinnamon, salt, and that's it. Stir it all together until it is combined, and then we'll just pour in the wet ingredients and stir this all together until you have a batter. And this is going to be the base of our coffee cake, of course. So once you have that all combined and you've got the consistency that you're looking for, which is kind of a smooth, like muffin type batter, you can set that aside and bring down a baking pan. I like to use a 9x9 pan that is lined with parchment paper. And then we are going to spoon half of the mixture of the batter into this pan, smooth it over with your spatula so that it gets into the corners, and then sprinkle it with the filling, which is the cinnamon and sugar mixture. From there, just add the rest of the batter on top of that cinnamon and sugar. Spread it out evenly with your spatula or the back of a spoon, and then we are going to get to swirling. So you'll just use a butter knife, or you could also use a chopstick, and basically just make swirly patterns inside. There is no method to this. You really just use the knife and like swirl it around, and that just helps get that filling all nice and evenly marbled throughout the coffee cake. From there, you're just gonna finish it off with our gorgeous crumble topping that we made earlier. And then we can just pop this in the oven and bake it up until it is nice and puffy and golden brown, and the topping will be a little bit crispy. And oh my gosh, it's so good. Then just let it cool completely in the pan before you slice it. This really helps to keep things moist. It helps make sure that you're not cutting it too soon. That makes it kind of soggy in the middle. So let it cool completely, and then just slice it up into your squares. I like to slice it up into even 16 squares. And I can't wait for you guys to see the center of it. But here you go, you can see the center. It isn't like quite as pronounced as a traditional coffee cake because we're using coconut sugar, and it just has a kind of darker color in general. So you can't quite see the swirl as well, but it's in there, I promise. And it is so delicious, like absolutely incredible. And you can tell like this is gluten-free. You would never be able to know. It's so moist, really springy, and it's just fabulous. I hope you guys give this one a try because I know you are going to love it. And it's just like something a little extra special. And there you have it, my friends. I hope you enjoyed today's recipes. I can't wait to hear which one you want to try first. Make sure to let me know in the comment box below. I will leave a comment pinned and you can just answer me right there. That way I know which one you're the most excited about. Personally, I love the parfaits, but the coffee cake is great for Easter. It's great for brunch. It's great for Mother's Day. It's just a really like nice classic recipe that you can go back to over and over again for special occasions. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, I have linked the full recipes up on the blog, so they're down in the description box for you. Everything you need to make them is in those posts, ingredient list, instructions, more photos, everything like that. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you are not yet part of our community, don't forget to subscribe before you go. There's a red button that says subscribe. It's right below this video. That will subscribe you. I'm here twice a week, every Tuesday and Friday, sharing new video content. So there's always lots coming your way. And I've also included some links in the description box to playlists that I think you might like. There are hundreds of videos on this channel, so feel free to browse and binge watch as we go. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.